Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. In a historic moment, India's space agency ISRO to launch its heaviest satellite CMS-03 on Sunday from Sriharikota. Satellite to give big boost to India's communication systems. Trump threatens Nigeria for its failure to protect Christians in the country. Nigerian president rejects religious intolerance claims. US administration's crackdown on alleged illegal drug vessels continues, with another strike in Caribbean claiming 3 lives. Day of the Dead turns tragic in Mexico as deadly fire engulfs supermarket, killing at least 23 and injuring 11 others. Mexican president condoles the incident. And in women's cricket, India aims for its maiden World Cup title against South Africa in Mumbai today. Nigeria has vowed to continue defending citizens of all religions after US President Donald Trump listed it as a country of concern. In a latest move, the Trump administration has threatened the West African country of a military action if the Nigerian government fails to protect Christians amid reports of violence in the country.
US President Donald Trump has threatened on Saturday to send the military into Nigeria with the guns a-blazing if Nigeria does not stem what he described as the killing of Christians by Islamists. In an explosive post, Trump said on social media that he asked the Pentagon to map out a possible plan of attack in Nigeria if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians. Trump said the US government will also immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. Trump's post on Nigeria came a day after his administration added Nigeria back to countries of particular concern list of nations that the US says have violated religious freedom. Before Trump's threats, Nigeria's foreign ministry said it will continue to defend all citizens irrespective of race, creed or religion. Nigerian government said that like America, Nigeria has no option but to celebrate the diversity that is their greatest strength. It also hoped Washington would remain a close ally. In a separate statement before Trump's post, Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu posted a statement on Saturday pushing back against claims of religious intolerance and defended his country's efforts to protect religious freedom. Nigeria is embroiled in numerous conflicts that experts say have killed both Christians and Muslims without distinction. While Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had no immediate reaction to Trump's threat of military action, the White House also had no immediate comment on the potential timing of any US military action. Bureau Report, DD India.
In a tragic incident in the United Kingdom, multiple people were stabbed on a passenger train in Cambridgeshire. Armed police were at the scene after being alerted around 1940 GMT, and the train was stopped at Huntingdon, a market town in East England. 2 people have been arrested and the investigation is underway. British Transport Police said counter-terrorism police were supporting its investigation whilst it worked to establish the full circumstances and motivation for the incident. Prime Minister Keir Starmer said in a post on X, and I quote, "The appalling incident on a train near Huntingdon is deeply concerning. My thoughts are with all those affected and my thanks go to the emergency services for their response. Anyone in the area should follow the advice of the police," unquote. Eyewitnesses described scenes of panic and confusion, saying they initially thought it was a Halloween prank but quickly realized the severity of the incident.
We didn't quite know what. And then a minute or so later, a man comes running down with a very clear wound, bleeding quite badly on his arm. And I thought it was like some sort of Halloween prank at first. But then he's shouting that someone's got a knife, he was stabbed. And then a few more people come running down the train.
I had guys suddenly run past going, run, run. There's a guy stabbing literally everyone, everything. At first, there was a few of us kind of looking at each other like thinking, was it a joke, like it's Halloween, I'll be pranking. But then you could kind of see in their faces they were being serious.
Let's now take a look at data on growing knife crime in the United Kingdom. Knife crime in England and Wales has been steadily rising since 2011, according to official government data. While Britain has some of the strictest gun controls in the world, rampant knife crime has been branded a national crisis by Prime Minister Starmer. His Labour government has tried to rein in their use. Nearly 60,000 blades have been either seized or surrendered in England and Wales as part of government efforts to halve knife crime within a decade. Carrying a knife in public can already get you up to 4 years in prison, and the government said knife murders had dropped by 18% in the last year. US continues to carry out crackdown on drug vessels in the Caribbean. On Saturday, the US military conducted a lethal strike on a vessel operated by a drug trafficking organization in the Caribbean, killing 3 men aboard. The operation, directed by President Donald Trump and carried out in international waters, targeted a vessel known to be carrying narcotics along smuggling route, with no US forces harmed. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shared a video set to show the moment of the deadly strike on the boat. Moving on, updates on Russia-Ukraine conflict now. With the escalation of the conflict, Kyiv has sent special forces to the eastern city of Pokrovsk amid Moscow offensive. Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrsky stated that a major operation is going on to drive the Russian forces out of Pokrovsk, with special operations units active in the city under his orders. Syrsky added Pokrovsk is facing intense pressure from a large Russian force but denied claims that the city has been encircled, insisting there is no blockade and that Ukrainian logistics are still functioning. Earlier this week, Kyiv reported that a major Moscow offensive with hundreds of Russian soldiers infiltrating Pokrovsk, while additional forces are moving towards its outskirts in pincer movement. The capture of Pokrovsk could as well provide a major propaganda boost for the Kremlin, which has rebuffed US calls to halt its nearly 4-year conflict and instead pushed forward with its ground assault. Meanwhile, a Russian strike set ablaze a shop in Ukraine's southeastern Dnipropetrovsk region, killing 2 people and injuring several others, according to the region's acting governor. Russia's overnight air attack on Ukraine's frontline region of Zaporizhzhia left nearly 60,000 people without electricity, while 2 people were killed in the southern region of Odessa. As winter nears, Russia has stepped up missile and drone strikes on Ukraine's power grid, triggering outages and forcing Kyiv's emergency crews to race to repair damage and manage rolling blackouts. Zaporizhzhia endures near daily Russian artillery, missile and drone strikes that have destroyed homes, crippled utilities and killed scores as Moscow pressures Ukraine's defenses and disrupts links between its south and the rest of the country. An Israeli strike in southern Lebanon killed 4 people on Saturday as Israel's ramped-up attacks raise fears for a nearly year-long truce with Hezbollah. Despite a November 2024 ceasefire with the Lebanese militant group, Israel maintains troops in 5 areas in southern Lebanon and has kept up regular airstrikes claiming to target Hezbollah. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun had called for talks with Israel in mid-October after US President Donald Trump brokered a ceasefire in Gaza. But Aoun has accused Israel of responding to his call to come to the negotiating table by stepping up its air strikes on his country. Hezbollah first began launching cross-border fire at Israel following the outbreak of the conflict in Gaza in October 2023. That set off a more than year-long conflict that culminated in months of open conflict before last year's ceasefire was agreed. Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara will visit Washington. U.S. Special Envoy to Syria Tom Barrack said on Saturday in what would be the first visit by a Syrian head of state to the U.S. capital. The visit will occur around November 10, according to a White House official. According to the U.S. State Department's historical list of foreign leaders' visits, no previous Syrian president has paid an official visit to Washington. Shara addressed the UN General Assembly in New York in September. Since seizing power from Bashar al-Assad last December, Shara has made a series of foreign trips as his transitional government seeks to re-establish Syria's ties with world powers that has shunned Damascus during Assad's rule. As US is pushing for a security agreement to be reached with Israel by the time Shara visits Washington, US Special Envoy to Syria Tom Barrack informed that Syria and Israel were close to reaching an agreement but declined to say when exactly a deal could be reached. Israel and Syria have been Middle East adversaries for decades. Despite the overthrow of Assad last December, territorial disputes and deep-seated political mistrust between the two countries remain. Iran will rebuild its nuclear facilities with greater power. President Masoud Pezeshkian told state media on Sunday that the country, however, does not seek a nuclear weapon. In September, the United Nations reinstated an arms embargo and other sanctions on Iran over its nuclear program. Also, after taking office for his second term, Trump restored his maximum pressure campaign on Iran, which includes efforts to prevent Tehran from developing a nuclear weapon. In June, the US bombed Iran's nuclear sites. Members of a U.S. congressional committee investigating the Jeffrey Epstein case have intensified their calls for Andrew Mountbatten Windsor to answer questions about his ties to the late financier and sex offender. King Charles stripped Andrew of his title of prince and evicted him from his mansion in the grounds of Windsor Castle on Thursday, responding to the outrage that had built around the royal over years of damaging headlines about his behavior. Buckingham Palace said the censors were needed even though Andrew has continued to deny the allegations made against him. In the US, the King's move led to more calls for Andrew to reveal all he knows about Epstein, particularly in the light of the expression of sympathy for victims of abuse in Thursday's statement from the palace. A federal court in Rhode Island on Saturday ordered the Trump administration to make full food aid benefit payments by Monday or partial payments by Wednesday, while acknowledging the irreparable harm that exists without their timely payment. The Rhode Island case is one of two lawsuits filed to block the U.S. Department of Agriculture's suspension of Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits, known as SNAP or food stamps. In a ruling issued on Friday, Judge of the U.S. District Court for the District of Rhode Island rejected the USDA's argument that it could not fund SNAP because of the ongoing federal shutdown. McConnell's Saturday order gave President Donald Trump's administration a Monday deadline to present a plan to pay full benefits on that day, or at least partial payments 2 days later. At the end of Friday's hearing, McConnell said the administration's decision not to tap $5.25 billion in contingency funds to fund November benefits was arbitrary. And still to come on DD News. Cambodia starts the process of removal of heavy weapons from border areas in Preah Vihear province. And we will tell you about the weather across parts of the globe. Grand Egyptian Museum Giza officially opens after 2 decades of construction work.
Long before the GMT, this city was the cosmic clock of India. It lay on the Tropic of Cancer and also was the prime meridian of India. All the calculations, astrologicals and astronomical, were done here. This is the city of King Vikramaditya. This is the city of Mahakal. Watch Forever Cities a special edition on Ujjain only on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Prasar Bharati. And in Mexico, a supermarket explosion killed at least 23 people in northern state of Sonora, with investigators saying the blast was an accident possibly caused by a faulty electric transformer. The state governor informed that a number of the victims investigators found were minors, while 11 others were also injured. Durazo said the survivors were being treated at hospitals in the city of Hermosillo, where the explosion took place. An extensive and transparent investigation has been ordered to determine the causes of the incident and figure out those responsible. Local authorities cancelled celebrations scheduled for the weekend to honor the Day of the Dead. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum expressed her condolences in a social media post. She said, in fact, and I quote, "I have been in contact with the Sonora Governor, Alfonso Durazo, to provide support where needed. I have instructed Interior Secretary Rosa Isela Rodriguez to send a support team in order to assist the families and the injured." And Samia Suluhu Hassan, who has won her first elected term as President of Tanzania, securing 98% of the votes in the 2025 general elections, has condemned the protests surrounding the polls, while the opposition alleges that hundreds have been killed by security forces. The Electoral Commission of Tanzania said Hassan won 97.66% of the vote, with turnout at 87%, though media reports suggest that polling stations were largely empty. Her win seeks to cement her position and silence critiques in her party with a resounding win, as the main opposition candidates are either jailed or disqualified. However, the African Union chair has deeply regretted the loss of human life in the election protests in Tanzania, but congratulated President Samia Suluhu Hassan on her victory. And Sudan faces a grim humanitarian crisis, with fresh reports of atrocities emerging from Al Fasher after it's captured by rapid support forces. The United Nations has termed the situation as catastrophic, as civilians continue to flee amid violence and restricted access for aid agencies. Global leaders are now calling for accountability and the need for an urgent international response to in fact end the suffering. DD India's Soumyaraj Dwivedi brings us more.
In Sudan's Al Fasher, mass killings continue in and around the region, days after the city fell to the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces or RSF. Since the city's fall, multiple reports have emerged of summary executions, sexual violence, attacks on aid workers, widespread looting and abductions. The RSF has claimed that it arrested several fighters accused of committing abuses. However, UN humanitarian chief Tom Fletcher has questioned the RSF's commitment to genuinely investigate these violations. The United Nations has voiced deep alarm over emerging reports of executions, sexual violence and abductions in Al Fasher. UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric described the situation as horrific, warning that conditions in North Darfur remain catastrophic, with civilians under attack and humanitarian access cut off. Meanwhile, at a regional security conference in Bahrain, German Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul called the Sudan's crisis as an absolutely apocalyptic. Britain's Foreign Minister Yvette Cooper too described the reported atrocities as truly horrifying and announced €5 million in new humanitarian funding for Sudan. The aid aims to support civilians caught in the violence and those displaced by the fighting in Al Fasher. At war with the Sudanese army since April 2023, the RSF seized Al Fasher last Sunday, pushing government forces out of their final stronghold in western Darfur following an 18-month siege, marking a relentless violence and suffering. Soumyaraj Dwivedi's report for DD India.
In Novi Sad, young activists called for snap elections and countrywide demonstrations to end Serbia's political turmoil, while thousands marked the first anniversary of the railway station roof collapse victims that killed 16 people. A second 16-minute silence was observed on the Danube river bank, where participants raised lit phones towards the night sky. The protest movement, led by students, academics and opposition leaders, accused the President Alexander Vučić and his populist nationalist party of ruling over corruption, shoddy public services, nepotism and curbs on media freedoms, while the government has rejected the allegations. Cambodia on Saturday started the process of the removal of heavy weapons and equipment from border areas in Phra Vihear province. This was in accordance with the first phase of the Regional Border Committee agreement jointly reached with Thailand. The withdrawal is being undertaken under observation of a military observer from Malaysia. The withdrawal being implemented simultaneously by both Cambodia and Thailand is scheduled for 3 weeks from November 1st to November 21st. The agreement between Cambodia and Thailand on a concrete phased removal plan for heavy weapons and equipment was reached during special Regional Border Committee meeting on Friday. And in Kenya, at least 21 people have been confirmed dead and 31 others remain missing after a devastating landslide hit the country's Marakwet East region early Saturday morning following heavy rainfall. A multi-agency search and rescue operation involving the military, police and humanitarian agencies is underway to locate the missing persons. Interior Cabinet Secretary of Kenya, who visited the affected site, said 25 people have been rescued and are receiving medical treatment. He urged residents to move to higher ground and avoid landslide-prone areas as rains continue to batter the region. Authorities have established a reporting desk for missing persons, while emergency teams continue to dig through debris. Jamaican officials have announced plans to set up multiple field hospitals as the country recovers from Hurricane Melissa, with the death toll now over 50 across the Caribbean. Jamaica has confirmed 19 deaths so far, but officials say the actual number could be higher as some areas remain difficult to reach. Haiti's Civil Protection Department has reported at least 31 deaths due to the storm. Melissa struck Jamaica as a Category 5 hurricane with 185 miles per hour winds, the most powerful storm ever recorded on the island, and drenched the country with torrential rain. Hospitals in western Jamaica were badly impacted, and the first field hospital is expected to arrive in Black River, fully equipped with an operating theatre and diagnostic equipment. More field hospitals are also expected with support from the World Health Organization and countries including Spain, Canada and India. Record heavy rains and flooding in central Vietnam this week have killed 35 people, disaster management officials said on Sunday, with 5 more still missing in the deluge. Heavy rain has plummeled Vietnam's coastal provinces since last weekend, with a record of up to 1.7 meters falling over 24 hours, spanning last Sunday and Monday. Hoi An's ancient town, that is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, has been inundating with waist-deep water, with residents navigating the city by wooden boats after a major local river overflowed at a 60-year high and rains continuing Sunday. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has written to Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan to resolve a long-running tussle over who will host next year's COP31 summit. Australia and Turkey submitted bids in 2022 to host the United Nations Climate Conference, and both countries have refused to concede to the other ever since. The regional diplomatic bloc of 18 countries, the Pacific Islands Forum, is backing Australia's bid. Several Pacific Island nations are at risk from rising seas. While Turkey has previously argued its Mediterranean location would help reduce emissions from flights bringing delegates to the conference, and has pointed out its smaller oil and gas industry compared to Australia. COP31's host needing to be unanimously agreed upon by 28 members of the Western Europe and others group bloc. And 2 more suspects, including a woman, were charged on Saturday in relation to the theft of historical jewels worth $102 million from the Louvre Museum. In a press release, the Paris prosecutor stated that both suspects have denied any involvement in the theft. 4 people are now under investigation and in custody, while 3 others arrested on October 29 were released without charge. Masked thieves stole treasures from the Louvre, the Apollo Gallery, which houses the French crown jewels, during opening hours on October 19, highlighting security flaws at the world's most visited museum. And let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. A vibrant display of color-filled symmetry in Guatemala on Saturday as families raised giant kites to mark the Day of the Dead. The tradition, which began in the late 19th century in southern Guatemala, honors deceased loved ones and was added to UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage list in 2024. The Grand Egyptian Museum in Giza officially opened on Saturday, ending more than 2 decades of construction delayed by regional unrest and the pandemic. A spectacular drone show lit up the night sky, forming images of Tutankhamun alongside King Khufu. Lasers and shadow projections enhanced the display, showcasing Egypt's cultural heritage and its vast collection of artifacts. Dozens of South Africans dressed as zombies marched through Cape Town on Saturday for the city's annual Zombie Walk, raising funds for the Lucky Lucy Foundation, which rescues and rehabilitates animals. Participants wore horror-themed costumes and walked with pets and family members, blending Halloween fun with community charity efforts. Baseball team Toronto Blue Jays fans were left heartbroken after the team lost to the Los Angeles Dodgers in the World Series on Saturday. The team came very close to winning their first championship in 32 years. Fans said that the game was unbelievable and Blue Jays deserved to win more than any other team. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on a campaign trail in Bihar today. McDonald's turns to millets. Stay with us to know how India's traditional nutrition is reshaping global food habits. Bahrain's foreign minister arriving in New Delhi today on a 2-day visit.
Embark on a timeless journey. Unravel the mysteries of a grandiose era. A treasure trove of royal and sacred complexes, temples, shrines, pillared halls, mandapas, rock-cut memorials and more. A spectacular setting of rugged landscape and exemplary workmanship, representing the best of Dravidian architecture. Every structure carved out as a unique artistic creation. A heritage landmark that reflects pure magnificence, integrated within its natural environment. An unexplored haven for nature and adventure enthusiasts. An imposing heritage reflected in its street bazaars and annual festivals of music and culture. Come, be mesmerized by the glorious capital of the Vijayanagar Empire.
And you're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and a quick recap of the headlines. In a historic moment, India's space agency ISRO to launch its heaviest satellite CMSO-3 on Sunday from Sriharikota, satellite to give a big boost to India's communication systems. Trump threatens Nigeria for its failure to protect Christians in the country. Nigerian president rejects religious intolerance claims. US administration's crackdown on alleged illegal drug vessels continues, with another strike in Caribbean claiming 3 lives. Day of the Dead turns tragic in Mexico as deadly fire engulfs supermarket, killing at least 23 and injuring 11 others. Mexican president condoles the incident. And in women's cricket, India aims for its maiden World Cup title against South Africa in Mumbai today. President Draupadi Murmu is on a visit to the northern Himalayan state of Uttarakhand from today till 4th of this month. The president attended the convocation of the University of Patanjali in Haridwar this afternoon. Addressing the convocation, the president said that the dream of a developed India by 2047 will remain incomplete without the equal participation of women.
140 करोड़ जनसंख्या भारत में है, उनमें से 50% महिलाएं, जो हम सपने देख रहे हैं 2047 तक भारत को विकसित भारत बनाएंगे, तो बेटियां और भाइयों सभी का सहयोग चाहिए, क्योंकि केवल 50% बेटा प्रयास करेंगे और बेटियां पीछे रह जाएंगे तो विकसित भारत का सपना हुए तो अधूरा रह जाएगा.
Earlier this morning, the president was received by Governor of Uttarakhand, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh, and Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami upon her arrival at Dehradun. With political parties ramping up campaigning efforts ahead of the upcoming Bihar Assembly polls, Bharatiya Janata Party leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is campaigning in the eastern state. In his first rally of the day in Ara, PM Modi stressed that NDA's manifesto is a guarantee of Bihar's all-round development along with social justice. He said the sea of people gathered in the city is an indication that the public has once again made up its mind to form an NDA government in the state. He will later hold a rally in Nevada and a grand roadshow in Patna. In view of the Bihar Assembly election, the Election Commission of India had directed senior officials of the states of Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal to ensure heightened vigilance in areas bordering the state with enhanced checks at the interstate posts to monitor movement of people, materials and money. The election in the state will be conducted in 2 phases on 6th and 11th of November this year. The counting of votes will take place on 14th of November. The Indian Space Research Organisation is all set for the launch of its heavy communication satellite CMSO-3 from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Andhra Pradesh's Sriharikota today. The ISRO said the 43.5 meter tall rocket has been fully assembled, integrated with the satellite and moved to the second launch pad for the final pre-launch checks. The liftoff is scheduled for 5:26 p.m. IST on November 2nd, that is today. November 2nd mission marks the 5th operational flight of the LV-M3. ISRO's last mission using this rocket was the Chandrayaan-3 launch, which successfully landed near the lunar South Pole in 2023, making India the first country to achieve the feat. The CMSO-3 satellite, a multi-band communication satellite, aims to provide services over a wide oceanic region, including the Indian landmass. The upcoming launch underscores ISRO's growing capability to deploy large and complex communication satellites using its own heavy lift vehicles. A group of school students from Telangana reached the Satish Dhawan Space Center to witness the launch of CMS-03. Students expressed excitement and curiosity, saying they were thrilled to finally see in real life what they had only studied in textbooks and watched on television. And DD India correspondent Jaya Singh joins me from Sriharikota. Hi Jaya Singh. Indeed, an important day today when it comes to India's space sector. Heaviest satellite ever from Indian soil would be launched. What are you picking up from ground zero, Jaya Singh?
Well, Siddharth, the countdown process that started yesterday, 5:26 p.m., the 24-hour countdown, it is progressing well and almost coming to its culmination. Within a few minutes, hours more, the satellite will be launched into its intended geotransfer orbit, geosynchronous transfer orbit by the Bahubali rocket called the LVM-3, which has already played its successful role in launching Chandrayaan-2 and Chandrayaan-3 and even a few more prestigious missions like OneWeb. So the scientists are very confident of this mission, which is very crucial for India, especially in the Navy, for its strategic purposes, because CMS-03 will be the replacement satellite for GSAT-7, which will be which has been launched in 2013, which is aging. It is a long operational satellite, but again it is aging, and now this is a replacement for GSAT-7. It will have a multi bandwidth capacity, the KU band, the ultra high frequency range, the S band, the C band. So this is a multi-frequency, multi-band satellite that can function day and night irrespective of the weather situation.
Definitely. Jaya Singh, we also heard that some students are also there, Jaya Singh. Did you get a chance to interact with those students?
Well, Siddharth, they are full of joy and enthusiasm to see for themselves the ascension, the ignition and the liftoff of the rocket, because seeing on the television or cell phone screen is different from seeing for themselves with their own eyes. So a lot of enthusiasm is on their face. Earlier only the students could be seen in the visitors gallery. Now people from all walks of life, from all directions, they have started pouring in larger numbers. The gallery is almost getting fast filled up to its full capacity.
Indeed, Jaya Singh. Very quickly, before we let you go, what is special in this satellite, Jaya Singh? Why this satellite is the heaviest till now launched by ISRO or launched from the Indian soil?
Well, the reason is even heavier rockets have been made by ISRO, but they were launched from abroad, from French Guyana, the Ariane 5. It is very costly, and this is a matter of national pride that we have built our own heavy satellite indigenously, and we are going to launch it indigenously from the second launch pad of Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota. Another thing is, it is heavy because of the payloads attached with this satellite, because it is a multi-band satellite catering to the unique needs of our Indian Navy. We know that India is blessed with more than 7,500 long kilometers. According to the latest methods of measurement, the hydrography measurements, we are blessed with more than 11,500 kilometers of coastline. So our coastal region is assuming greater importance in security viewpoint, strategy viewpoint, and we have 2.5 million square kilometers of exclusive economic zone, and most of the sea trade is passing through this region, and therefore we need to have an effective communication setup. That is why the Indian Navy has placed its order for this satellite, the state-of-the-art modern satellite, which can help in day-to-day communication, a seamless communication in a safe, secure manner from the ship to the aircraft to the submarines and also to the stations on the shore. So this is going to be a great boon, an eye in the sky for Indian Navy and for India.
Jai Singh, in fact, a historic moment, and of course, you along with others will witness this historic moment from the ISRO headquarters, and we sitting here will witness this historic moment on our television screens. Thank you so much for joining. And Videshi turns to Swadeshi as the popular international food chain McDonald's serves India's millet bun burger, prepared using indigenous technology developed by the Mysore-based Council of Scientific and Industrial Research Institute, the Central Food Technological Research Institute. Taking to social media X, Union Minister of State, Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh said it is a proud moment showcasing how Indian innovation and traditional nutrition are shaping, in fact, reshaping global food trends. He further added that it's a grand vindication for India's millet movement, which had gained momentum with the UN declaring 2023 as the International Year of Millets at the behest of India with the personal intervention of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Union Minister of State for External Affairs Pabitra Margarita is scheduled to embark on a visit to 3 countries in Latin America and Caribbean region, Ecuador, Bolivia and Cuba from 4th to 10th of November 2025. During his visit, the MOS is expected to meet with the political leadership in these countries and discuss issues of mutual interest and review progress in bilateral relations. He is also scheduled to interact with representatives from business and Indian community. While in Ecuador, he will review preparations for establishing a resident Indian mission to Quito. During his visit to Bolivia, Margarita is scheduled to represent the government of India at the inauguration of the newly elected president of the plurinational state of Bolivia on 8th of November 2025 in the administrative capital La Paz. In Cuba, the minister would be discussing strengthening bilateral relations, including in the areas of health, medicine, digital public infrastructure and capacity building. Bahrain's Foreign Minister Abdulatif bin Rashid Al Zayani will arrive in New Delhi today on a 2-day visit to India. During his visit, he will meet External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. His visit comes after Dr. Jaishankar visited Bahrain in December last year. During last year's visit, Dr. Jaishankar co-chaired the 4th meeting of the India-Bahrain High Joint Commission. India and Bahrain enjoy excellent bilateral relations characterized by cordial political, economic, cultural and people-to-people contacts. He will depart from India tomorrow. And still to come on DD India News Hour. India win toss, opt to field against Australia in the 3rd T20 International in Hobart. Benefits of marathon running outweigh any costs. And we also will tell you what happened in this week's Fit India Sundays on Cycle campaign.
This is the city that has never been destroyed. Never. And the reason is that its custodian is Mahakal himself. Ujjain has surprises and secrets for you at every nook and corner. This is the story of Ujjain. Watch Forever Cities, a special edition on Ujjain only on DD India.
Goa, an adventure paradise like none other. From lush forests to rugged hills, from pristine ocean beach stretches to stunning lakes, there is something to explore in every corner of the state. And some adventures are wilder than others. Watch postcards from Goa on National Geographic.
Welcome to Lakshadweep, the land of 100,000 islands, the aquatic wonderland of India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj, and time now for sport. Now, India are set to face South Africa in the summit clash of Women's Cricket World Cup in Navi Mumbai. The toss has been delayed by half an hour due to rain and wet outfield. Both teams are on the cusp of history as they chase a elusive trophy. India will play their third ODI World Cup final after 2005 and 2017, while South Africa appear in their maiden final. DD India's Suchitra has sent this report from Ground Zero.
After a month of intense competition among 8 teams, the Women's Cricket World Cup has reached its pinnacle. Host India will face South Africa in the summit clash as both teams chase elusive trophy. India started the tournament with 2 consecutive wins but then lost 3 matches, making it difficult for themselves to reach the semi-finals. However, they defeated New Zealand in a do-or-die match and secured the semi-final spot. In the last 4 clash, India achieved the highest target in the tournament, defeating 7-time world champions Australia by 5 wickets. Batters Smriti Mandhana and Jemimah Rodriguez are in splendid forms, while Deepti Sharma has made significant contributions.
This match is more important because keeping yourself balanced and focus is something which is the key. And we are having those sessions where we have been talking about how we can be more focused and more balanced, and at the same time keeping ourselves relaxed because this is the biggest stage and biggest opportunity for us playing in home condition, and that also final match.
On the other hand, South Africa had a very poor start. They were bundled out for just 69 runs in their first match against England. However, the team bounced back and managed to reach the semi-finals. South Africa defeated England by 125 runs in the last 4 to book a berth in the summit clash. South Africa's Laura Wolvaardt is the tournament's top scorer with 470 runs, while Nadine de Klerk has bailed out the team on several occasions.
I think knockout cricket is completely different to league cricket. I think, like we've seen, I think people are able to do some very special things in knockout games, like we saw from Jamie the other night. So I think, starts totally afresh. I don't think we're going to be looking into our group game against them. We know we have to play some really good cricket. They're a really strong side and have just come off of a really good game as well, so they'll be high on confidence.
In the bilateral clashes, the 2 teams have faced each other 34 times. India have won 20 games and South Africa 13, with 1 match ending without result. The 2 teams have faced each other 6 times in the ODI World Cup, with both teams winning 3 matches each. In the last 5 ODIs, India have won 4 matches, while South Africa came out victorious in the league stage of this edition. Rain could play a spoil sport, hence Monday has been designated as a reserve day.
South Africa has entered the Women's One-Day World Cup final for the first time, while India has made it to the final twice in 2005 and 2017, but they lost on both occasions. Now, we'll have to see if India gets third time lucky and becomes world champion for the first time in front of their home crowd. With camera person Ashish Sharma, this is Suchitra reporting for DD India in Navi Mumbai.
All right, and DD India's Deepika Mehto is joining me live. Deepika, it certainly seems like the rain gods are not happy. We'll talk about later as to which team has the prospects of winning this encounter. But first, will the match take place?
If we talk about the match, Siddharth, it is a very crucial match between India and South Africa, the super finale as we talk about it. But yes, rain is playing a spoil sport because the toss has been delayed and in half an hour from now we are expecting the toss to take place. But once again, we are having the rain predictions at 3 o'clock and then 5 to 7 p.m. is the time when the rain is going to peak up. So here, when we talk about the rain predictions, it is playing as a spoiled spot. But yes, we do have a reserve day going in on Monday. So if there is no match today, we will go into the reserve day, or if there are some overs which will be played today, the match will be continued tomorrow. But again, interestingly, tomorrow we have the similar sort of prediction going into Monday as well on the reserve day, where the rain has been forecasted. So in that case, ultimately, what will happen that the trophy will be shared between both the teams, as no ultimate winner will be decided or chosen. But as of now, fingers are crossed as we are expecting the toss to happen. We are also expecting the match to take place between India and South Africa, Siddharth.
Definitely. And Deepika, we all know what happened in the last encounter, tears of joy, and people were jumping with joy when they beat Australia, the 7-time champion. But what will be their strategy this time around? It has always been aggressive, we understand, but will they be really cautious this time? Deepika.
With the kind of batting depth we have this time, that India explored in their playing 11 lineup in the semi-finals, that was the momentum that really India enjoyed, especially when we talk about their outing against Australia, beating Australia in the bilateral series earlier in New Chandigarh, and having failed to do so in the group stage encounter. But again, they got their rhythm. They got into their rhythm back once again in the semi-finals, having that correct batting depth with having played Jamima at number 3 position. We are expecting the same lineup to be followed by Team India. However, we are expecting just one change from Team South Africa, that is adding one more batter to their to their playing 11, because this at this particular pitch, which is Navi Mumbai, they are playing here for the very first time in the entire tournament. So, however, Team India has played here thrice and won. So Team India has got an upper hand not only in the head-to-head, but the pitch conditions also favor, because they have been accustomed to this particular pitch condition, having won the match against Australia. So let's see how South Africa is going to face this challenge, because this is also the home ground of Team India, and how Team India encashes this opportunity, having playing their third finale after 2000, once in 2005, then in 2017, and now in 2025. Siddharth.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Deepika. And Australia got off to a poor start in the third T20 international against India in Hobart. The hosts lost 2 quick wickets after Indian skipper Surya Kumar Yadav won the toss and opted to field. Pacer Arshdeep Singh dismissed Travis Head and Josh Inglis with only 14 runs on the board. But Tim David revived the innings with blistering half-century. Australia have reached 120 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. Earlier, India made 3 changes in their playing 11. They have included wicketkeeper Jitesh Sharma, spinner Washington Sundar and pacer Arshdeep Singh, while in Australian squad, Sean Abbott replaced Josh Hazlewood. A marathon was organised at Delhi's Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in honour of Paramveer Chakravarti flying officer Nirmaljeet Singh Sekhon, remembered for his lone defence of Srinagar Air Base against the Pakistan Air Force air raid, in fact, during the Indo-Pakistani War of 1971.
The national level Sekho Indian Air Force Marathon, embodying the core principle of the Indian Air Force, courage, discipline and unity, was flagged off in Delhi at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. Around 31,000 participants registered from across the country, including 12,000 from Delhi alone.
I'm saying thank you very much everyone for supporting this maiden run. It's in the name of Paramveer Chakra flying officer Nirmaljeet Singh Sekhon. He is our icon, and I'm sure we're going to do it every year.
This marks the first ever marathon organized by Indian Air Force, which is now set to become an annual event. This is aimed to inspire citizens to embrace a culture of fitness and resilience. Actors Archana Puran Singh, Sunil Grover and Huma Qureshi were present at the event to encourage and inspire the participants.
We have the honor today of being present here to flag off the first ever Seco Indian Air Force Marathon. And it's truly heartwarming to see citizens and storytellers like Netflix to come together on a platform like this. And I have huge respect for the Indian Armed Forces.
बहुत ही गर्व की बात है कि हम लोग यहाँ पे हैं और इस मैराथन का हिस्सा है। यहाँ पे सब लोगों को मिलके बहुत अच्छा लगा और इंडियन एयरफोर्स का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और नेटफ्लिक्स का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जिन्होंने ये आयोजन किया और मुझे बेहद प्रसन्नता है, खुशी है। थैंक यू सो मच, धन्यवाद, जय हिंद।
बहुत खुश हैं। आई थिंक हम लोग सब यहाँ पे आए हैं और इंडियन एयरफोर्स वे वेरी वेरी प्राउड ऑफ देम। वो देश की शान है एंड आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी वेरी ग्रेट इनिशिएटिव। सुबह सुबह 5 किलोमीटर, 10 किलोमीटर, 21 किलोमीटर्स, आई थिंक इट्स वेरी वेरी इंस्पायरिंग एंड आई थिंक इट्स अ ग्रेट इनिशिएटिव।
इट्स एन एब्सोल्यूट ऑनर टू बी हियर और हम लोगों ने उनका जोश बढ़ाया है नहीं ये नहीं पता, लेकिन उन लोगों ने हमारा जोश ज़रूर बढ़ाया है एंड we can sleep safe because we have the forces protecting us and hats off to them.
In Gandhinagar in Gujarat, over 800 participants took part in the marathon. The event was flagged off by Air Marshal Nagesh Kapoor, Air Officer, Commanding-in-Chief of the Southwestern Air Command. In Jodhpur too, people participated in huge numbers. The event started with a warm-up session designed to get everyone energized and ready for the marathon.
This marathon is truly a tribute to Paramveer Chakra awardee Flying Officer Nirmaljeet Singh Sikho, who fought against all odds in 1971 Indo-Pak War. With camera person Deshbandhu Ankit Mishra for DD India.
Hundreds of cycle enthusiasts took part in the Fit India Sundays on Cycle campaign in New Delhi to spread the message of healthy life. The campaign aims to promote cycling as it's one of the most accessible and effective forms of exercise. It enhances stamina, reduces stress, improves health and promotes mental well-being. It is also an eco-friendly mode of transport that contributes to reducing pollution and building a greener nation. Since its launch, the initiative has been celebrated every Sunday at several locations across the country. It brings together citizens of all age groups to take a stand against obesity and commit to a healthier and active lifestyle. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.